Hey, somebody's got to get the tape off the duck. You did? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to The Professional Noticer. Here, you and I will use common sense and all the wisdom we can muster to move beyond what is true and go all the way to the truth. With actual listeners in more than 100 countries, I am The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today, and with every show we do, is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life you would live by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. Our sponsor this week is a new book titled Just Jones. When a telephone rings in Orange Beach, Alabama, a whispered message brings news that readers have been waiting on for 7 years. The Noticer is back. Apparently, however, the old man is also in jail. From New York Times best-selling author Andy Andrews comes the return of one of our favorite characters, Jones, a mysterious old man with endless wisdom who always shows up exactly when he's needed most. The old man is tight-lipped about the circumstances surrounding his brief incarceration. After arriving to bail him out, Andy is shocked to discover that his trusted friend has already opened an unusual business in one of the resort town's most high-profile shopping districts. As the town moves from spring to summer, a practical joker is becoming bolder and more inventive with every prank that is pulled. Could Jones be behind some of it? Why? What is the truth about that 400-pound table in his store? And why does it look as if every person Jones meets has a secret they will reveal only to him? Dave Ramsey says the book is pure genius on paper. It's a mystery that is laugh-out-loud funny with tender moments and practical wisdom. Just Jones. Sometimes a thing is impossible until it is actually done. Available wherever books are sold. But that's not all. For every person who buys Just Jones before the end of September 2020, I will give a free downloadable audio program. It's my program called Becoming a Noticer. It's a 4-hour program. It sells on iTunes for $50, but it's free to you when you purchase a copy of Just Jones from any retail or online store during the next 2 weeks. Just send a photo or screenshot of your receipt to andy@andyandrews.com or direct message me with that receipt on any social media, and you'll get it for free. How's that? Observations and answers, that's what we do here at The Professional Noticer. And as you can see, we are not in the studio, but we still have observations and answers, and some great ones. What I do, I bring you the greatest mentors in the world. And today, I have somebody who has observations and answers. This is one of my greatest friends in the world. This is Jimmy Yeary.
Well, hi there. Thank you for having me.
Man, I'm so excited that you're here. A lot of times when I'm talking about you, I will veer off before I say your name, and I'll tell people just a little story about an alchemist, an alchemy, and how back in the Middle Ages there were people that thought they could make precious metals out of nothing, just out of the air. And they were trying to make gold, and I say, I actually know somebody who has done it. And people are like, really? I say, oh yeah. Because that's what you do. You make gold and platinum records, albums out of the air. Jimmy is one of the greatest songwriters living today. And I say that without a hint of sarcasm, even though that's our kind of our love language.
Sarcasm. It is our love language. Sarcasm does infect a great deal of our relationship. But thank you, man. I still love it after all these years. I think I enjoy it more now than I ever have because of the a few of the principles that I use that you helped me tap into. So yeah.
Jimmy has written, and it's funny too that when I talk to people in Nashville and I talk about my friend Jimmy Yeary and I say he's a songwriter, you know, people in Nashville are kind of used to, yeah, my waiter is a songwriter, and right. The lady that helped me last night, you know, at the rest stop, she's a songwriter. And so I always say, like, Jimmy's like a real one. You know, he's a real. And you've had a ton of number one hits in a ton of different genres. In fact, right now, for 5 weeks in a row on Billboard's Bluegrass chart, you've had the number one song.
I just had a 5-week number one in Bluegrass, yeah, and it's a song called "Richest Man in the Graveyard." And if you look that up, I'm trying to remember. I cannot even remember the name of the group. But you know, you get songs cut sometimes in different genres, and then you find out after the fact. And this is one of those songs. And I found out it went number one, and then it was another week, then another week, then another week, then another week. So,
what was your first number one in country music?
My first number one was a song called "Why Wait" that Rascal Flatts recorded, and that was a song written about. I was telling a co-writer, Neil Thrasher, about how quickly my wife and I, Sonia Isaacs with the group, the gospel group, the Isaacs. We dated. We wanted to get married 2 days after we started dating, and so I was telling my co-writer about that. And he said, man, it just, you know, and how we got married so quickly. We got married after 6 months, but we wanted to get married so much quicker. And I said, but, you know, who wants to hear a song about people, let's go get married, you know, because of the young kids and all that stuff. I don't know, what do I know? And he said, well, I have a title here called "Why Wait." I've been wanting to write, and we can make it real fun. And it was huge. It was.
Do you remember any of that? Just to do a little bit of it?
Yeah, it was, let's see. What do you say, girl, we do something crazy? Quit putting it off, you know what I'm saying. Hey, like it ain't gonna happen, forever's a given, it's already written. Who we kidding, baby, come on. The stars can't line up any straighter, let's do it now and think about it later. Something we should have done yesterday. I know a little church with a preacher who could hook us up right away. Love don't need a reason, baby. I don't see how I can love you any more than I do today. So I wait.
Wow.
Oh man, I still love singing that song. You know, I try to write from a place of feeling something at the level of which I feel it. I believe that other people will feel it. So that song, I just remember really getting into the emotion that I felt. I was so in love, still am, but that newness of love and that wanting to get married, and just so wrapped up in that song. And so it's still, every time I sing it, I go back to when we first got married.
I remember one time, you know, you asked me, do you believe the stuff that you write? And I said, of course, yes, I do. And you said, why? And I said, well, I wouldn't write it if I didn't believe it. And if I don't believe it, nobody else is going to believe it.
Right.
And you said that that's how you feel about songs. And this was before you and I wrote anything together. And so I would look at Jimmy and I'd think, you know, I do stuff in 60 and 70,000 words, and he has to tell that story in 2.5 minutes.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's an amazing thing. When did you begin? I mean, I know as a young person, you were kind of writing songs. Right?
I was.
Right? I mean, and you would go in the bathroom because it sounded good,
Mm-hmm.
and right?
I would.
Well, here's what I'm trying to relate this to. When I had the Traveler's Gift, and the Traveler's Gift kind of broke big. It was Good Morning America's Book of the Month. And I was kind of like this rookie pitcher without a contract that had just won 20 games.
Right.
And now, you know, they wanted me.
Right.
And so they signed me to a book contract. And so I had the opportunity to write another book. And I sat down and I went, oh no. It terrified me because I wasn't really sure how I had written the first one.
Right.
At what point, and it took me 4 or 5 books to really begin to understand a process that I could call on. Mm-hmm. And so when did that happen for you?
You know what? I think it happened after after a song called "I Drive Your Truck," right?
Really, that late?
Well, at the magnitude.
Because this song was CMA Song of the Year and ACM Song of the Year.
Well, I say it at the level that I was unwilling to compromise what I knew without a shadow of a doubt was a principle I had to use that worked for me. We've talked about this, the bottom of the pool principle, and finding out why something works. And I remember you having a deep conversation with me about that one night. But just why does this kind of song work? Why are the hits and the songs that don't get cut are songs that don't get cut? And a lot of times, I really understood that the level at which I feel something, other people feel it. And if they feel it, there's a connection, and that connection creates friends. And I can prove it time and time again, going out somewhere and singing a song like "I Drive Your Truck" and having whoever from Wyoming and his mama and his daddy and his daughter and his brother and everybody out there treating, going, "Hey, little Tommy, sing 'I Drive Your Truck' the chorus. Sing it, Jimmy, you're going to love this." Right? Like they've known me their whole lives, because in a sense they do, because I felt something and they felt it, and that connection forms friendships. And so it's just if I can do that, if I can feel it and other people feel it, then so I don't compromise the emotion and the authenticity of my lyrics anymore. And once that happened, I got excited. I enjoyed writing more than I ever had. And I have a new song on Tim McGraw right now, and it's a song Mama. I called Mama, and it's at number 7 right now, and it's just a song that I felt. It was authentic. It was a true story, and that's what translates with people. Not unlike your books.
Now, when you hear Jimmy say authentic, and I felt it, and I would go ahead. I mean, the song you did, I Call Mama, that's out right now, that's storming up the charts. It's the fastest rising song Tim McGraw has ever had in his career, and that's right. Saying something, right?
That is, yeah.
Jimmy wrote Kenny Chesney's last 2 number ones. Has had a bunch of number 1 hits, and again, different genres. But I remember, I guess I do remember a time when, after I Drive Your Truck, you being a little bit frustrated, a little bit down, because you're a writer for a major publishing company, mm-hmm. and the songs that people were cutting and the songs that they wanted were like, go out in the cornfield with underage drinking and, in a truck. And,
right.
And Jimmy, I remember Jimmy telling me one day, he said, they don't want the kind of songs that I do. They don't want the kind of songs that I do. And I remember stopping, and I hope you don't mind me telling this story, mm-hmm. because I think about this a lot as I watch you and how confident you have become in the gift that you have. But you said, I don't like that kind of stuff, and I don't want to write those kind of songs, and they don't want the kind of songs that I want to do. And I remember pulling off the side of the road, and I said, hey, buddy, you're telling me they don't want a CMA Song of the Year, an ACM Song of the Year. You're telling me they don't want an I Drive Your Truck? And you said, you remember what you said? You said, well, that's the exception. And I said, exactly. And if they want those other kind of songs, they can have those other kind of songs. But if they want an exception, if they want a song that can win Song of the Year, if they want a song that'll last forever, they're going to have you. Because you don't write those other songs. You write songs that are the exception.
Yeah.
And so, and somehow, it connected with me. I don't know if it connected much with you, but I thought, man, people tell me my stuff doesn't go in the right places in the bookstore, and
right.
and they can't put my stuff in the front of the bookstore, and I'm like, okay, but we've got to stay true to what we do.
I totally agree. I remember that very well. I remember that being a pivotal moment in my new techniques of how to write songs, and chasing what you think other people want to hear, chasing what you think they want to, what you should say how they would say it, and all that stuff was what I was doing and what I was frustrated with. I was trying to capture something that wasn't in here. I often say that if you're creating something and the bubble's here, here's the song, here's the project, here's the goal, and you're out here throwing ideas and lines and whatever, and if you're writing a book and you're doing you have to get in it. You got to get inside of the story and become the character in that story and that goal and that song. And so it really woke me up to I wanted to enjoy creating again. And I wanted to enjoy what I do, and it wake me up every morning and put fuel in my soul when I drive downtown to write or wherever I write. And that was, do what you do. What's in your heart? Because if you don't feel it, ain't nobody else gonna feel it. And so that's exciting for me. Even my publisher noticed a dramatic difference and called me one day and said, whatever you're doing, whatever that is you're doing, don't stop doing it.
Right.
Because we'll get those cut. And so I have become somewhat of somebody that is known for songs that do go deeper. I'm not the like you say, sitting in the truck with a girl with the cutoffs in a field somewhere with a bonfire, and I just want to stay out there all night for some reason. I'm 50 years old. I get tired at 10 o'clock, and I've got kids. So I want to write songs that are true to me. And if I tell my story, I have learned that other people see their story, and if I feel it, they feel it.
One of the cool things to me, when you and I started, we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
But when we started actually writing together, I remember you telling me one time, you said this is kind of like a book. Everything has already been said. It's already been said. Now we got to figure out a different way to say it that creates a picture that will touch people. And the example that Jimmy used was, he said, I can say, I love my dad, like everybody else would say. Or I can say, I love the man who taught me how to fish. And that brings a whole nother thought process, a whole nother picture there.
And this is why that's so important, because your dad may not have taught you how to fish. Your dad may have taught you how to change a tire. He may have taught you how to fly a kite. He may not have taught you anything. Your dad could have been gone. He could have been an alcoholic. He could have died before you remember him. It doesn't matter. The point is that if my dad taught me how to fish, so I'm going to say I love the man that taught me how to fish. And whatever your dad taught you or didn't teach you, that emotion that I feel, you have felt. We all have felt the same emotions: the hurt, the love, the loss, the guilt, the worry, the shame, the joy, and all of these things. All I got to do is tell my story and about my relationship with my daddy, and you'll see your relationship with your daddy. Even if you didn't have a daddy, maybe you see the emotion you wish you had, or whatever.
Right.
But I just got to tell my story, and you see yours. And it's powerful, even outside of a song. I can be honest with you, and I can tell you that sometimes I have anxiety, or sometimes I feel like the most insignificant person in a room. And if I tell it like that authentically, and if you have felt that, which chances are we all have, then you connect. We connect. I've met an intrinsic need you have not to feel alone. You get to go, that's me, I've been there.
Right.
And so, not unlike a song, the power in that to create connections and friendships is amazing.
I listened to this, and one of the very cool things, when you hear this has personal application, but it also has business application, career application, relationship application, which is why sometime a couple or 3 years ago, Jimmy he began speaking, not just writing songs and not just performing the songs, but actually speaking to corporations and doing some songs that they've heard on the radio and saying, here's what was behind this, and here's why this works, and here's how you can use it. And it has been fascinating. I've been at several events that you've talked to these corporate crowds, and man, they just eat it up. Do you remember, there's been several songs that you sent me over the years that, I'll send you stuff, or I'll read you stuff over the phone. What do you think? Or you send me something and say, what do you think? And there's been several songs Jimmy sent me over the years that he said, what do you think? And I've said, whatever I think. But then there's been a few that I've said, I'll tell you what I think. I think you better not ever give that to anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to record that but you. Do you remember, and you're holding this one, the one that you did for Aiden?
Okay. Yeah.
But and explain a little of that. Do a verse of that. I just love this song. Aiden is his boy.
Aiden's my oldest boy. He's 9 years old, and then I've got a boy 4 years old, and then I've got a little girl, Evie, 3. So Aiden, Gatlin, and Evie. And if you have kids, you love them. You just love them more than anything in the world. You can't imagine life without them. And one day, as I was showering him with love, and it just occurred to me that he really doesn't have an idea how much I truly love him, just like I didn't with my parents. But I thought, one day he's going to. And And so I thought it'd be neat to write a song for Aiden called He Don't Know That Yet. Again, telling my story.
All right.
Hoping you'll see yours. Let's see, how's it go? Yeah. He'll watch me drive a nail with a hammer in one hand, like I'm some kind of put two boards together Superman. I'm just your average everyday Home Depot weekend guy at best, but he don't know that yet. Sometimes I get home, one slap out, and I barely kiss his mama, and that football's in his hand, saying, come on, Dad, you promised, and we'll win them backyard Super Bowls with one tired quarterback, but he don't know that yet. He don't know that life ain't nothing like it is on TV. When I say that'll hurt you, I can tell he don't believe me. And half the time the man he thinks I am is scared to death, but he don't know that yet. He don't know that yet. And that's just half of the song. But yeah, I love singing. Every time I sing that, I love it. I enjoy singing it because I feel it and I love to feel.
There is a song that you also, I'm hoping you held back. There's a song, Left of Center. Not Center, Left of Center. Do you remember it?
Oh, gosh. I can try.
Yeah, try just a little bit of this. I just think this is... I watched Jimmy do this at my house one night in front of a few people, and I just watched their eyes get wide and their jaws drop, and it was people just wanted to just kind of quietly walk away after this. It's just a great song.
I'll try.
One Wing Grounded Angel.
I don't think I'll ever feel like I'm worthy of my wife, and this is kind of a song that touches on that, but I'm a one-wing grounded angel, the short end of a candle. I'm a rain-soaked cigarette. Yeah, I'm a thumbs up, a middle finger, a heart-shaped bullet when I pull the trigger. I'm brave as hell and I'm scared to death. And I don't deserve a cross and I don't deserve a crown. What goes around comes back around. I'm just a guy with a girl too pretty. Sometimes I wonder why she's with me, but I thank the good Lord every day. And remember, I've had my share of failures, and if you ask, she'd probably tell you, on a scale from 1 to delivered, I'm a little right of saint, a little left of center.
That one kills me.
Sinner, S-I-N-N-E-R. You probably
A
haven't
little
said that.
right
but
as that. I mean, on a scale from 1 to delivered, a little right of saint, a little left of sinner. What? That's just a great line.
Well, I remember being in a writing room and a guy said, "Hey, we could write a song called Left of Center, but not center." The normal phrase of
Sure.
center. And so I thought to myself, there's 3 of us, myself, 2 other guys in the room, and I said, I hate to admit this, and the co-writer will forgive me, but we got through the first verse and chorus, and one of the writers with me was understood that it was S-I-N-N-E-R, and the other writer, after we had the verse and chorus done, was like, boy, and I was going, man, this is unbelievable. And he went, man, I'll tell you what, I never thought you could make such a great song out of Left of Center. And I went, what? And he said, left of center, right? And I said, S-I-N-N-E-R. And he went, that's amazing. So yeah, it can slip by you, but I love that song so much.
Have you had a song that you wrote, you had high hopes for, and it just was maybe a little disappointing. It just it didn't do what you thought it would do.
Yeah, I think that one for me is probably, I've always wanted a George Strait cut.
I know what you're going to say.
And I wanted a George Strait single, of course. And I finally, he had 60 number one songs. Radio, management, George, everybody was, I think, understood that he was going to get 60 number ones at the age of 60 years old. It was unprecedented. And so that happened. And after that, I think radio, I'm just guessing, but I think I'm pretty close on this. I think radio just kind of went, George, we love you. We've given you radio for how many years, and so he couldn't get another hit. So two more subsequent singles that kind of stayed around the 20s and 30s. But then he did a new record, and they really got behind it. And the title of the record was called "Cold Beer Conversations,"
which was the song Jimmy wrote,
and what's one I wrote, and then it was the first single. It was the lead off single off the record.
Do a little bit of this.
Well, I really thought that was going to be a huge hit. Yeah. It went to like 19, but I didn't get my number one with George Strait, but.
But this is just such a killer song.
Now, you talk about a song that I may not be able to get through.
Let's see. Just the first little bit.
How's it go? How's it start? You ever feel like you're standing in glue? Going nowhere, yeah, man, me too. Busting your butt, just trying to get ahead. Wind up tasting a little dust instead. Buddy, I swear that pretty thing of mine don't ask for much, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to give her everything that shines. Cold beer conversations, just a couple old boys, a little time well wasted. Trying to figure out life, trying to figure out girls, trying to find our way in this crazy old world. A little truth, a little frustration, cold beer conversation. But just the thought of two old men sitting around having a beer in a bar and...
well, there's an authentic song.
That's an authentic song, it's just, I love just country and yeah. And so, what an honor to have him do it, right? It went to 19.
Oh, yeah, man.
Did you have a single on George Strait ever?
No, I never did.
Okay, well, there you go.
I never did.
I guess that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to do, I sent him one that was like, all my exes have changed sexes. And he changed it to Texas, and
you didn't get any credit.
I didn't get any credit for it at all.
I don't think I believe that. But
yeah, okay, that's good. Hey, listen, we're here. We did the first part in the studio at home, and now we're up here in Nashville together. And Jimmy and I've been running around, and Sonia has already stuck her head in and said it's 7:00. We're supposed to be at Becky's, and so since she won't forgive you, but she'll forgive me.
She will forgive you.
And so I want to hear one more thing. I want you to do the whole song if you can.
Okay.
Right now, you guys are going to have to go on YouTube and find Jimmy doing "I Drive Your Truck" and "Everything's Gonna Be All Right" and "I Called Mama." Watch us sometimes. Watch Jimmy. A lot of times on Facebook, Jimmy will do a 5 o'clock thing called the Yeary Chapel, which we're in, kind of the Yeary Chapel right now. And he'll do this live on Facebook. Subscribe to that. Be a part of that. And you can see Jimmy on a lot of my stuff because we're buds and we do stuff together. But tonight we're just we kind of put together this part for the middle of the professional noticer. I want to hear, what have you got going now? What has just been cut that's not even on the radio yet? Didn't Lee Brice do one of yours? Yeah,
well, Lee Brice did "I Drive Your Truck."
Right.
So
he loves everything you do. Anything you write, he's going to do it.
Right. Well, not true. But he apparently loved another one, and it's a song called "Country Knows." And the record is getting ready to come out. His first single off that record is at number 2 right now, and we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we might get the next one. So,
can you do it?
I don't know it completely.
You just like you don't know the music or don't know the words.
I don't really know the words. So.
Well, good, because I printed out the words. You and I do, and you sent me the stuff, and so I printed them out. So
did not.
I will actually.
Wow.
Because I knew you were going to say that. I've got, and so let me. Can I hold it for you? You want me to hold it for him? I know you did.
Okay, you got it. Let me look at it. Make sure you printed the right song.
And tell me
you did.
That is the right one, right?
You sure did.
And okay, so I'm going to hold it like this, so that I don't have to move it at the wrong time or.
Okay.
So
I love the old Glenn Campbell, Jimmy Webb sort of vibe, right? So I've this has kind of got that rolling thing to it, and it was just a concept of, hey, nobody understands me sometimes, but country does. What a neat concept. So I sung background on this as well as my wife on this song on the record.
Really?
Lee was there, and he actually produced the vocals, so it was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Let's see here. Old dogs, country roads, front porches and cornrows, fireflies filling up a jar. Mama's cooking bare feet, tire swinging kids out in the yard. Corner bars and neon lights, old guitars and bonfires, and Merle songs your daddy used to sing. Screen doors slamming shut, tin roofs sleeping to the rain. Country knows how I feel. It always has, it always will. It's in my heart. It's been there from the beginning. It saved my soul, healed my pain. It's paved every road down memory lane. When nobody knows how I feel, country always will. Old barns that lean a little, tractor fields and train whistles and heartache on AM radio. When a little hurt and a little lonely's laying on me, there's a place I go where the lights are low. Country knows how I feel, always has, always will. It's in my heart, it's been there from the beginning. It saved my soul, healed my pain, paved every road down memory lane. When nobody knows how I feel, country always will. Yeah, country knows how I feel. It always has, it always will. It's in my heart, it's been there from the beginning. It's saved my soul, it's healed my pain. It's paved every road down my memory lane. When nobody knows how I feel, country always will. Country always will.
wow, buddy, man, good luck with that one.
Well, I'm excited. Thank you for having me here, man.
Absolutely.
How fun is this?
Absolutely. I think it's awesome for the professional noticer audience that you guys, we got to hear it before anybody else will hear it.
That's pretty cool.
So thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Love
I
you,
just
dude.
love you guys, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Back at you.
I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. Hey, quick question. Where do you seek wisdom? Allow me to suggest wisdomharbor.com. That's wisdom, HARBOUR.com. Go there right now and get your 5-minute tour and get a 30-day free, just become a member. Become a member. You do it for your family. Do it for your business and your schools. It's wisdomharbor.com. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing what tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, smile while you talk, even behind your mask. Don't breathe anybody else's air, still, okay? But make sure you have a positive answer to the question, how's it going? And so, until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Lindert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Mule sauce provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by futurephone.edu. Did you love the Jetsons as a kid? Do you like books about time travel? Futurephone.edu is right up your alley. A coordinated research organization funded by the world's greatest colleges and universities, Futurephone.edu has taken telephone design light years past the competition. While other devices are deemed smart by their manufacturers, the communication units now being produced in the secret laboratories of Futurephone.edu are well beyond smart. They're brilliant. So forget whatever number phone you have. Forget standing in line 20 years from now for an iPhone 42. Get the phone of tomorrow today. Check out these tantalizing features. Future Phone will never confuse you by storing tens of thousands of photos because it doesn't have a camera. Don't worry about dropping this tiny, fragile piece of technology. It's not tiny or fragile. Futurephone.edu predicts an extra large future for you. Therefore, their phones are similarly substantial. It's like holding a brick, but with a single dial. Nothing to turn on or off and nothing to update. Our no earpiece connection with no speakerphone allows you to easily follow our nation's hand-free laws and actually drive somewhere without making or taking a call. In fact, you'll never take it out of your house, for the fashionable coiled cord does not detach from the phone or the wall. Best of all, there's nothing to learn. But if you still can't figure it out, simply dial 0, and a person Future Phone calls an operator will immediately answer to help. That's futurephone.edu, available in avocado green with a single ringtone.